I hope they're almost done. I know these kinds of appointments take a while, but I'm dying to know how it's going. I'm honestly kind of surprised they didn't want me to go in with them. Considering all the work it took me to convince them to make the appointment, I figured I'd have to drag them in there kicking and screaming. I get it though. It's overwhelming when your doctor recommends that you see a psychiatrist. I remember the first time I went, I thought for sure I was never going to be seen as a normal person again. But thankfully that wasn't the case. And since I've already been through something like this, I can give them whatever kind of emotional support they need. Oh, here they come. They've got a pretty neutral expression. Hard to tell if it went well or not. Hey, how was it? Just fine? Anything else? Well, was the doctor nice? Did she seem like someone you'd want to keep working with? That's good. Anything, interesting come to light? Well, I just mean, did the topic of a diagnosis come up? Maybe. What do you mean, maybe? Babe, come on. I know you didn't necessarily want to go see someone, and getting a new diagnosis can be scary, but don't start hiding things from me. It is a big deal. If something is going on with you that requires some kind of treatment, don't you think I, as your partner, should know about it? Why do you think I tell you everything that goes on with my mental health treatments? It's important that we stay on the same page about this stuff, babe. I'm sorry if I sound angry. I'm not angry. I'm just concerned. I take this stuff really seriously, and I want you to keep me in the loop with what's happening. Look, if you went to the doctor and got diagnosed with something like migraines or diabetes or epilepsy, you wouldn't try to hide that from me, would you? Of course you wouldn't. That's something I would need to know about because it affects your life, your well-being. This isn't any different just because it's a mental thing. I need to know what's going on with you so that I can make sure I'm supporting you as best as I can. Believe me, babe, I know how hard it is to grapple with a new diagnosis. I'm sure you're feeling scared and confused, and you're probably questioning a lot of things right now. But trying to sweep it under the rug is only going to make things worse. It's ADHD? And they're positive about that? Okay. Well, that's nothing that can't be managed, right? I'm pretty sure there are a ton of treatment options out there, so they're bound to find something that works for you. What? No, I'm not upset. Why would I be upset about you having ADHD? Hey now. Come here. Talk to me, honey. What's really bothering you? Oh, you poor thing. Have you been worrying about that a lot? Since the doctor's appointment? Baby, that was weeks ago. I'm sorry you felt like you had to shoulder that burden alone. You must have been so stressed. My poor baby. Listen, I could never be upset with you for this, okay? It's not like it's something you can control. Plus, I think you know I'm the last person on earth who would ever judge you for something like that. I know. The intrusive thoughts just worm their way in and take over, don't they? Believe me, baby. I've been there. I totally get it, okay? But hey, look at me. This does not change a single thing between us, okay? I don't see you any differently than I did an hour ago. You are still my sweet, loving, intelligent, funny, amazing partner. You just happen to have ADHD, and that's okay. And guess what? I'm going to be here beside you every step of the way. We're going to figure this out together, all right? I know it all seems like a really big deal right now, but eventually things are going to get easier. It's just going to take time. However, in the meantime, we have somewhere we need to go. See, you're new to this, so you don't know the rules yet. It's obligatory that after a visit to the psychiatrist, especially an intense one like this was, you have to go get ice cream. How does that sound? Oh yeah, it's a requirement. It's also a requirement that the patient gets to choose whatever flavors they want, and their girlfriend has to pay. I'm not just making this up. It's basically the law. If we don't follow the rules, who knows what'll happen? So, where do you want to go? Hell yeah, we can go there. They have so many good flavors. Plus, they have those cute old-fashioned circular booths that I love. Good choice, babe. How's your ice cream? Oh, a new favorite, huh? You should let them know before we leave. I know they usually tend to keep the flavors that people like. Oh yeah, mine's delicious. I'm probably going to have a sugar crash when we get home, but that's a problem for future me. I'm shocked it's so empty in here. Usually this place is packed to the brim. I'm not complaining. We got one of the good booths and we have the place practically to ourselves. This is perfection. So, how are you feeling now? Obviously, ice cream isn't an instant cure-all, but now that you've had some time to process, you doing okay? I know. It's a lot to take in. It might be a while until you're fully used to the whole idea. Can I just ask a question? I promise if it makes you upset or uncomfortable, you don't have to answer. Did you have any idea that ADHD could be a possibility? Or was this like a complete blindside for you? You had a suspicion that's where it was going? Okay, so at least it wasn't a total shock, right? So, why were you so upset and trying to hide it from me? No, I'm not saying your emotions weren't valid. Believe me, I've been in your position with this mental health stuff before, and I understand being shaken up by things the doctor tells you. It's just that you seemed so, I don't know, like you were offended and in denial about it. Embarrassed? Honey, why? There's no reason to be embarrassed just because you have ADHD. Just like there's no reason to be embarrassed about any illness, mental or physical. Come here, my sweetheart. You are absolutely not broken at all. I know it's easy to slip into that mindset, but I promise you it's not true. Well, yeah. There is a big stereotype that only hyperactive little kids can be diagnosed with ADHD. But actually, I think there are something like 8 million adults in the world with it. So, if anything, I'd say you're fairly normal, and you are definitely not alone. Babe, I really don't think anyone is going to view you any differently. Truthfully, you don't even need to tell anyone if you don't want to. It's important for me to know since we're partners and we've made that commitment to each other, but you don't need to disclose it to anyone if you don't want to. What makes you think they'll know? It's not like you're walking around with a giant neon sign over your head saying, "Look at me, I have ADHD." Oh, because once you start getting treated, you're afraid people will notice your behavior changing and they'll start to ask? Well, those changes will happen gradually, babe. It's not like you're going to wake up one morning and suddenly be a completely different person. Getting the right medication and course of treatment takes time. A lot of time. Honestly, I think we tend to think other people notice our behavior a lot more than they actually do. In reality, everyone is too concerned about themselves to truly pay that much attention to everyone around them. And if people do ask, so what? Just be matter-of-fact with them about it, or just tell them to mind their own business. They don't need to know all of that anyway. Hey, what else is going on? Come on, baby. I know you. You still have that look on your face that's telling me there's still something on your mind. Babe, whatever it is, it's okay. You might feel better if you tell me. Don't keep it inside. Did I know? What do you mean, did I know? About the ADHD? I mean, I had my suspicions, but there was no way I could be totally sure. Honey, what? What did I say? I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to offend you or anything. I've just noticed some things that... Oh, I think I get it now. You're not embarrassed by the ADHD itself, as much as the way it's caused you to act around other people. Babe, just because I've picked up on things doesn't mean other people have. I mean, we live together. We spend way more time around each other than we do around other people. I'm bound to notice certain things. And the things I have noticed aren't even that big of a deal. Just little things, like how you sometimes need extra reminders to stay focused on things. Or that you'll get really excited about starting a project, but then kind of abandon it before it's finished. Things like that. Actually, what really tipped me off was how you have trouble sleeping a lot of the time. I know you wake up a lot in the middle of the night, and that combined with the other things just made me think that ADHD might be a possibility. I never said anything because I knew how hesitant you already were to see a psychiatrist. I didn't want to seem like I was trying to get into your head or force a diagnosis on you, you know? Well, of course you wouldn't think anything of those habits. They've just been a part of your behavior for so long. Why would you question it? Sometimes it takes hearing something from a professional for us to stop and realize that there's actually a deeper issue going on. She said talking a lot and interrupting people is a sign of ADHD too? Yeah, that makes sense. You don't do it all the time, baby. Just when you're really excited or passionate about something. To be honest, I've always found that to be really endearing about you. I love it when your eyes light up and you start talking a mile a minute. It makes my heart happy. Babe, will you do me a favor, please? At least as much as you can. Can you please try to stop worrying about what the rest of the world thinks? I know it's easier said than done, but this isn't about them. It's never been about them. This is about you and making sure that you're doing what's necessary to make life easier for yourself. If there are other people who are that concerned about your behavior or what's going on with you, then they need to butt out, and you can tell them that when the time comes. But right now, you need to focus on yourself and making the changes that will help you live your life to the fullest. And I'm going to be right here for you every step of the way. Of course I will, baby. You've always been there for me through all the ups and downs of my mental health struggles, and now it's my turn to do the same for you. If you forget to take your medication, I'll remind you. If you need help planning out your day so that you can stay on track, I'll sit down with you and work on it. If something with your treatment is making you feel off and you need someone to advocate for that, I'll come to your appointments with you. Anything you need, I'll be there. And hey, please don't forget, this does not change how I perceive you a single solitary bit. I love you, and that includes every part of you. It was true before you got a diagnosis, and it's still true now. I'll remind you of that as often as you need to hear it, okay? Good. You deserve to know that. Everything is going to be okay, sweetheart. It won't all be easy, but eventually it will be okay. Now, what do you say we head over to the pharmacy and pick up your medication, and then we can go home and spend the rest of the day however you want? Sure, we can do that. I promise, it sounds great. I'll lose 1,000 rounds of Mario Party, as long as you're the one I'm losing to.